At least 44 people in North Carolina have died in domestic violence homicides so far this year. Attorney General Josh Stein wants to see that number go down in future years. WRAL's Mandy reports Stein is encouraging the Department of Justice to work with law enforcement officers in a new method meant to save lives.
The pictures are still there next to a framed Mr. and Mrs. print. It's the appearance of a happy home.
I met my husband at work, and we started dating in 2017.
Titania Richmond says everything was great until 2 nights before her wedding.
I never saw it coming. The first punch to the left side of my face as I was sitting on a couch. November 6th, I thought was going to be the last day of my life.
She lived through it and says she was too scared to run or call off the wedding. The two became Mr. and Mrs. hours later, and that's when the cycle began. Beatings, followed by visits from law enforcement.
He feels like he can get in and out of jail on bond anytime. He even said several times, like, I don't care if you call the cops.
Richmond says she even felt guilty at times when the officers had to come to her home.
I even had one officer say, hey, why do you let them back in?
Now those officers have a new tool for this sort of call. The North Carolina Department of Justice is training law enforcement in the Lethality Assessment Protocol.
When law enforcement goes to the scene of a domestic dispute, there's a questionnaire. And depending on what the responses are to a series of questions, and these are social science determined questions, if the score hits a trigger, they will immediately call the domestic violence service provider.
It's a direct connection between law enforcement and local shelters and agencies. Now, instead of offering a brochure with a list of services, they will personally call someone who can help and hand the phone to the victim, with the hopes of reducing the risk of another violent and potentially deadly encounter.
You can't make them go see a service provider, but it can really make a difference of life or death.
And it allows law enforcement to take a step that can be hard for the victim.
What a lot of people don't understand with victims is we see that other side to our perpetrators, and it's so easy for us to take them back.
Richmond's husband is currently out on bond and awaiting another court date. The Lethality Assessment Protocol is being used in 5 North Carolina counties right now, including Wake, Durham, and Alamance counties. Attorney General Josh Stein says he is hoping to get it in more counties very soon. Deborah?
Such an important topic we're talking about here. Mandy, thank you.